Hi folks, welcome back to B29 Restoration Project. So the last video we got the paint masks for the tail number and then the initial one for the national insignias put on. As you can see, there's some paint and I've got another paint mask already going on. So just to kind of catch you up to what I did, once all that was put on and masked, I used Polyvance Plastic Magic. This is a adhesion promoter, primarily intended for plastic bumpers on automotive stuff. So far it has seemed like it works very well. You spray a medium wet coat on, you let it dry for 2 or 3 minutes, and then you spray another medium wet coat on, then you let it dry for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And then once I got that sprayed on, I just used some Krylon Fusion gloss white paint for the white portion of the national insignia, and then gloss black for up here at the radio numbers. Currently now what I'm doing is I'm getting this next insignia on, or the next paint mask for the insignia. And the way I have figured out how to get this lined up the best you can, because looking through the paper is almost impossible. So I unfold a portion of it here on the back side, and then I pull the corner down just far enough to expose the first alignment circle. I get that roughly where it needs to be and just very lightly tack it in place with my finger, and then do the exact same thing here on the opposite side and kind of adjust it until you get these two dots lined up as best as you can. And then it's just a matter of coming back along with the with your hard card and the felt edge and getting this pushed down nicely. The rattle can, the spray can paint that I use, it specifies that you have to, well, it specifies about, I'll get that spit out at some point. I think it says handling within 20 minutes. And then, let's see here. Yep, dries to touch 20 minutes, handle in 1 hour. So I've actually waited just over an hour before I started doing any of this stuff, just to make sure that the paint was good. To double check it, I came here with my finger and I touched all along the paint mask to make sure I didn't leave any fingerprints in the paint, which I haven't. So it should be good enough and dry enough now to where I can get this paint mask on. And this is really just more of the same process of what we did the first time. I'm not going to be too concerned with anywhere around the edges, because this paint mask, the only thing we got to do is we're going to take off the majority of it except for the star and then the bar on either side of the star. So I'm really only going to apply this to a couple of areas and very, very lightly everywhere else, just to make sure that it is lined up where we want it, because the majority of this mask is going to come right back off because we only have a 2 color to do. We're not doing a 3rd color insignia with the red. So we're going to pull the transfer paper here off the front of it, and just by looking at how it is around the edges where the first mask is on, it's looking very, very good on where it needs to be placement wise. So I'm quite happy. So now we'll continue pulling this off. And before we get too far along, I want to look at a photo and make sure that what I am seeing here is what I intend to be. We should have a blue outline all the way around, blue here around the star. The star will be white. The bars on either side of the star will be white, and that will be what we are left with. Again, pictures are worth their weight in gold. All right, so yep, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want white star, white bar, blue everywhere else, which is exactly what I have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start peeling the main part of this mask off, making sure that we leave the bar and the stars in position. And the one thing about this particular rattle can paint is it says that you have to apply additional coats within 2 hours or be after 48 hours. So I want to make sure that I do all of this before that 2 hour mark, because I really don't want to wait 2 days to finish painting this. I would like to get it all done today. So we got this here. I'm gonna go with my felt edged card. I'm gonna make sure that that is all put down nicely, and then I'm going to tape back off here over the alignment holes that we don't need to be painting. And that is this side. So now we'll get the other side to the same spot. And now that we've got that done, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm not going to spray the blue. I'm actually going to come over here and very lightly apply a coat of white to all of this. The reason for the white is it seals around the edges of your masking, so it's more unlike, it kind of prevents the blue from bleeding under your masking if it's not poked down completely. It seals the edges more or less. So that's the plan there. And once the blue kind of cures for probably, I will probably let it dry for about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll let the white dry for a few minutes, and then we'll start spraying the blue. And then once the blue has cured for a while, I like to pull all of my masking while it's still not completely dry, but it's not wet either. That way it gives a little bit of a chance for the paint to blend in and soften the edge a little bit. All right, so it's been about 5 or 10 minutes or so for the white to dry. I went ahead and I put a couple more, I think 2 more coats of paint on of the white, and basically I focused around doing all of the edges. That way we get those nicely sealed. Now I'm going to take my blue rattle can paint and we're going to spray that very, very lightly, just a couple of light coats. All right, folks, it's been about 20 minutes or so. I went ahead and pulled all of the masking around the masking off. So now we're going to go ahead and start pulling the paint mask for the insignia off. I'm just using a little T-pin here. I like to leave the outboard mask on, so it gives me something to rest my hand on. That way I don't hit any paint. The paint that's on here, even the blue stuff, is not really wet, but it's not cured to a hardness yet. So I'm just going to get there in the corner, and I'm going to pull the mask off. And so far, I did the other side already, and this thing has really it's turned out really nice. So there we got the star. Same thing, I'm going to come here at the bar, just get in the corner. I'm really trying not to go through the paint because the paint is still kind of soft. It's going to take a few days for this spray paint to cure. So I'm doing my best not to take any, like, go through it too much. So based on the other side, I think I got it probably just a little bit on the low side compared to where the picture should be, but you know, honestly, it looks good. I like it. I'm not going to complain. Nobody will know it's too low except for you all that watch this and heard me just say it. So now I'm just going to start at the corner of the big mask, and I am going to start peeling away to where it's basically pulling it back on itself. That way I don't catch any edges or try and peel the vinyl off below the masking. Let's go very, very slow. I'm gonna tear it here just to make life a little bit easier. I'm gonna peel it so it kind of cuts away the paint. And this is why I was saying I like to do it when it's still, the paint's fairly soft, because it gives it the ability to cut the paint very easily, and it also gives it an opportunity for the paint to kind of flatten and lay down a little bit into the surface it's on. That way you don't end up with a really thick ridge. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I may have waited just a little too long to start doing this. I probably should have started doing it about 10 minutes, 15 minutes instead of 20, 25. But as you see, the masking is coming off of the paint on the vinyl extremely nice, and no paint is coming off with it, which means that Plastic Magic adhesion promoter is doing exactly what it was intended to do. It's making sure the paint stays stuck to the vinyl extremely well. I'm very impressed. Just goes to show you, sometimes you get what you pay for. All right, so there we have one national insignia here on the right side. The tail numbers, I've already done those. They've turned out just as good. And the other side is also done. You can see here, we got the other side. So as far as insignias and markings go, the tail section of the fuselage is done. All I've got left to do now is the nose art, and then I need to do the aircraft data block, which is in this general area that basically tells you what type of airplane it is and serial number and blah blah blah. We also got a package from Legend Hobby with an engine. So that's number 2 of 4. A third one is supposed to be shipped here fairly soon. I think they may be out of stock on those right now. So one more engine to pay for, 4 propellers to buy, and a whole lot of receiver equipment to buy. So getting very, very, very close to having this thing done. I'm still procrastinating on cowls. It's just the headache of doing 4 sets of cowls and cowl flaps just sounds horrible. But anyway, that thing looks awesome with the insignia and then the tail number on it. So every step makes it look just a little bit closer to being ready. So till next time, y'all have a good one.